this is Stampy, and welcome to another behind the scenes video on my second channel. Before we begin, I just want to address the fact that a lot of people comment on this channel, thinking that it's a fake channel or a rip-off channel. It's not. This should be the real channel, of course, unless someone's re-uploaded this video. Basically, if you just look on my main channel and look in my like other channels, you'll find this channel. This is just my second channel, where I upload vlogs and Let's Talks and behind-the-scenes videos, just like this one. So yeah, and now we got that out of the way. Let's explain exactly where we are. I mean, you can probably tell by the the title of the video, but this is my lovely world. Well, this is my lovely world before I showed up, basically. This is the seed of my world loaded up just before I've built anything. So I'm going to take you on a little bit of a tour and to just show you what the world looked like and how much it's changed since I've been making videos in this world. So we're starting at the spawn. So this is the place where everyone spawns in when they join my world. Right about here is the emergency igloo, basically a place people can go for safety, just to get some food and some tools. And Norman lives here as well, my snow golem. So that's where this is. This ice here is actually where I froze myself. You see, actually, this is the little hole, isn't it? This is exactly where it is. So on my episode called Cat to the Future, which was filmed in this world, I freeze myself to go to the future, and this is the very hole that I freeze myself in. Right then, let's go for a little bit of a wander. So I've put up little markers around the place showing where things are. The main reason I did that is because I have released this world as a download, and so that way people can kind of work out exactly where they are, in case they didn't know. So this is, of course, where my lighthouse is. Let me kind of go this way. Do you sort of recognize that? You can kind of imagine a giant lighthouse being there. And then here is where the bridge is. The bridge goes right across here. Like this, then the path leads up to the lighthouse here, which means that, of course, this area here is my town. So there's a little sign here that says town. This sign probably doesn't do it justice because my town isn't there. My town goes all the way over here and all the way around here and all the way back around this way. Like the town's huge, actually goes all the way down to about here, I believe, is kind of where the like the fancy pants restaurants and things are. So as you can see, this is what this area used to look like. It's gone through quite the change, hasn't it? All of this water here has been built over, going all the way down here, and there's now my big clock tower and my Hotel of Dreams and all of these other buildings completely covering this land. So this section is pretty much completely unrecognizable, but over here it's going to start to look a little bit more familiar, hopefully anyway. So this, I'm pretty sure you should recognize. That's probably a pretty familiar sight. That little pool of water and that little pool of water are pretty much unchanged. And then here is Googly Island. And once again, I'm sure there's been one or two blocks destroyed and placed over the years. But overall, these are pretty much the same as when I first arrived in my lovely world, as is a decent amount of this area as well. So this is the entrance to my house. I don't know if it's exactly here. It's somewhere around here. So you go in, you kind of go up the stairs, and then there's that bridge over the water. That's where the dog house is down there, and there's the slime farm, and then everything else in my house under the ground there, like the water room and lava room. But yeah, I'd go over to here. So this is like my storage room, and then above here, this is like my brewing room, and my enchantment room would be there somewhere. And of course, this would then lead to my crafting and furnace room, which would be here, which then of course leads on to the love garden. And yeah, that is where my love garden is. So of course my main section of my house is here. This is where the big trail of water kind of comes down the middle. So my bedroom is right about here. So there we go. This looks just about right. Probably about this height around here, I reckon. So I'd come out and go, welcome to my lovely world, and pan across here. Obviously, the view is very different now, but it still looks relatively familiar. So inside of here, this is where I basically built like the rest of my house. So the bathroom's here, and then we'd have like the living room over here, and then the kitchen some way down through there. And this kind of section of the mountain's all still there. Like my original idea was to live in the hill and just to have this still look like a hill, but I live inside of it. Eventually I ended up decorating it a bit more, but it kind of just still links onto the mountain, and I don't really like that. I think one day I am going to change my house and kind of completely separate it from the hill, but yeah, I want to make sure I do it really well, because anytime I make a change to my house, house, I want to make sure I do it good because I like see it at the beginning of every episode. So of course on the top of here, this is where the clubhouse is, and then there's going to be a door somewhere around here that leads outside, and there's that weird B here, and then down here where you can see you can kind of go down to this cave. This was actually Hit the Target's first castle was here and kind of went under the ground there. We got Harriet Hill here, pretty much unchanged from how it was. Of course it's kind of flattened out and there's the building on it, Harriet's house, but apart from that, that's the same. And then this is the entrance here to her shop, and then on the other side over here we kind of got the same thing again, and this is Harrison's Hill, which once again hasn't really been changed all that much. There's just a path leading around the outside, but apart from that, the terrain hasn't changed too much, which I am quite happy about. And then here's the mob trap would be here. This great big lava and fire monstrosity would normally be sitting there rather than the flowers and trees. And then there's a little marker over here. This just says the rocket actually, so I guess this is where my my rocket ship is, which means that the hot air balloon would be about here. So does all of this make sense? Can you see it? So my farm would be about there, and the trails of water would go down here. This is where kind of Squid's house would be, and then the dog house is all inside of that mountain there. So if I kind of fly out like this, it might all make it a little bit more sense. You got to just imagine my house kind of blocking a lot of the water off. Over here, this is where my first ever house was. For those that have been watching my channel for a long time or went back because they're curious, this is the first house. So I got my first shelter, I'll show you in a second, then my first main house, but my first ever well, no, my second night in Minecraft was spent in a dirt and wooden house that I built right here. And the reason I built it here was because I was like, oh, look, there's tunnels. It means I could go mining because I had no idea that you could just dig down wherever you want and go mining anyway. I was a Minecraft noob back then. We all were at one point. We all were. All right, then, let's go back over. Whoop, nope, not that way. Let's go over this way and let's see what else there is. There's some quite interesting terrain around here. And aha! There are cakes as well. There are 10 cakes hidden in this world. So if you have downloaded it, see if you can find all of the cakes as well. There's one you can have for free. But I remember this terrain, finding that in one of my early videos. And also over here as well. I remember it was kind of quite distinctive and stood out, these weird kind of floating islands. So yeah, once again, those of you that have seen my early episodes, this might be a little bit of a nostalgia trip for you, kind of remembering how these things were. So one of the biggest changes is this area here, because of course, as we can see by here, this is the theater, and this is pretty much completely unrecognizable. So this mountain's all gone, and this was all tunneled away by hand, not only by me. I had a bunch of friends helping out. We just sort of chatted and watched films, and we dug that entire thing away block by block, so I had room to build my theater. And in fact, we kind of leveled this entire area here. We got rid of all of these mountains because there's the theater, and there's a big patch of room next to the theater, which I do have a plan for what I want to build in that big area, but you're all going to have to wait and see to find out what that's going to be. All right, then, let's go and keep wandering. It's becoming nighttime now, and it looks quite nice at nighttime. Of course, it's not very lit up because there's not very much here, especially compared to my normal lovely world. But there is, of course, one big thing that I haven't mentioned, and as soon as we're heading in this direction, you might be able to guess what it is. Before I say that, though, do you recognize this area? This area has changed quite a lot as well. So this here is the sign for the Funland. You know, the giant Stampy's Funland sign? That's what's there. And so this is the area that I just use for things, like mainly for Employee of the Month minigames, as well as a few other things. This area is all here. And the reason I use this area is because it's so flat, is because most of the sand that I built my house out of, I gathered from here. There's just loads of sand here, and then, of course, sandstone under it. So I basically dug all of this sand away and basically left this place in ruins. You know, it looked awful, basically. It was like loads of holes all over the place and stuff. So I just completely covered it in dirt, which made it flat. Then I was like, this is quite a useful area. So that's what this place is. I think I got rid of a lot of this water, but all of this area here, I believe, is pretty much unchanged. There's a witch here, apparently. She's not always there. And there's a witch over here as well. And then, of course, over here, you may recognize where we're heading to now. This is Hit the Target's castle. His evil fortress is on the top of this mountain, and as you can see, there's no lava going down here. It's kind of just a little ravine down there. But yeah, this is where Hit the Target's castle is. It's kind of surprising just how close it is to my town. Like, it never feels like that when you're in survival and running, but when you can like go here and say, right, the castle's there, and then like my house is there, you can realize just how close these things are. So the other thing to show you is a little bit weird. So, of course, this is where the fun land is. So let's think about this. If the sign's here, let's kind of work this out. So you go through the mountain about here, I reckon. So then this is where the big tree would be. That's where the little house is, where all my Minecraft helpers sleep. This is the golf course, and then the creeper coaster will be about there. But of course, it looks a little bit weird around here. Like, I don't know why, but when I did the seed, all of that area was exactly the same, but there's weird like cut off hills here. Can you kind of see this? See how it's all kind of like chopped down along the way here? I have no idea why that is, but it's still relatively similar, because if you don't know, my fun land was mainly built on a lake. It was pretty much all water, and we kind of just built over the water, and that's why it's just so big and so flat, because if it was all mountains, it would have taken way too long to kind of terraform them all down. But because it was water, I was able to build over it, and it did make it a little bit annoying when doing things like redstone, but overall, it was much quicker than having to kind of like dig all of the ground away. So if you do want to build something big like my fun land, I recommend going to find a lake. You know, unless you have a really nice flat area, yeah, find a lake and just build over it. That's what I'd recommend doing. And then, yeah, we can fly over here. So this is like all fun land, going all the way back here. Fun land, fun land, fun land, fun land, fun land, all the way almost to the very edge. And look at this area as well. Look, this is all chopped off as well here for some reason. Let me go set this to day so you can kind of see it a little bit better. You can see this is all just completely chopped off. Like, doesn't that look weird? Like, I have seen this before in Worlds, but I have no idea why it's done it now. And, whoa, this is quite the creeping. Look at a load of creepers and baby little villager zombies as well. It looks like we have a googly mountain over here. We had googly hill over there and then googly mountain over here. I've never seen that many creepers just naturally spawning in there together. Anyway, I am getting distracted. What was I saying? Yeah, if you want to play on this world, sadly the seed doesn't work anymore. I'm asked all the time for people to give out the seed because there's been so many updates. If you type in the same seed, you just end up with just a completely different world. So sadly, there's no way to kind of get my world by using a seed anymore, which is a little bit of a shame. But yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world. I also get asked a lot about just releasing my lovely world for a download anyway, and my answer to that is always, I will release it when it's finished. I don't want to release a work in progress, so I'm going to wait until I've finished building my lovely world, and then I will release it after that. So I don't know when that's going to be. We probably got quite a while yet. So sadly, I don't want to release it early, just because I want people to build it. You know, I want people to rather than just have my world, you know, to try and recreate it or just take mini games and just use their own world. You know, I always think that's a more fun way to do do Minecraft. So this here is Hit the Target's ocean base. So I didn't actually point this out. This is where the SS Stumpy is. This is my big boat here, and then my my submarine will be about here. And if you remember, I sailed my submarine all the way along here, and then there was a secret base for Hit the Target that was kind of under the ground there somewhere. What not a lot of people know is that to be able to sail my submarine like that, I had to do a lot of terraforming, because if you look, the water's not very deep here. It's only about this deep, and look how like shallow it is here. I had to dig all of this area away, all of this away, just to make it deep enough so I could sail my submarine through here. And digging under the water is not a very fun thing to do, so that took a really long time. So what else notable is there around here? I guess seeing as we're talking about Hit the Target, I can talk about Sinking Feeling, the episode where I sailed my boat, and I sailed it down here. We destroyed this ground here as well to make a clear path, and I kind of sailed it to about here. Those islands weren't here, I don't think. I think they're new, that swamp, and I think it was right about here where I was battling Hit the Target in the water over here. So Yeah, I think that's most of the main things to show you. Of course, there's a few other little places around my world that I could show you. Like all of this area, this is pretty much the same. This is where Lucky's grave is, if you remember that here. Then there's a giant tree here as well, which is kind of like my lookout tree. So all of this terrain over here is pretty much the same as it was. It's really only when you start wandering this way do things get a little bit weird and a little bit wilder. But to be fair, I've hardly changed anything in my lovely world in this area anyway, so it doesn't really make a huge difference, because if I wanted to see what my lovely world looked like, I can just load up my lovely world. It definitely does not have a giant jungle over here. So yeah, I know this is a little bit different compared to my other behind the scenes video. It's kind of just showing you my empty world, but I find it interesting to kind of go back after all of this time and kind of see, you know, what it used to be. So I thought that there's a good chance some of you would enjoy seeing all of this as well. And yeah, hopefully you did enjoy seeing this. So let's go and fly back to the spawn. I can't find my way home. I think so. That was my first house there. Is it over this way then? I think it's just weird how much I don't recognize it now that oh yeah, now that everything's gone. So here we go. Let's go and end it in my bedroom, which will be about here. So yeah, actually no, one more thing. This is the first shelter. That's where I spent my first night in Minecraft. I tunneled kind of into, I think I went to get the coal, and then I ended up digging in here. And this is of course now William Beaver's cave. It's kind of ended up becoming. So yeah, that's the end of this episode here. Hopefully you enjoyed it. There'll be plenty more behind the scenes videos coming on this channel very soon. But for now, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all later. Bye!